Yeah. Obviously, credit to Marquette. Good opening night, for them in this fabulous arena. I mean, this is a beautiful place, and they've got a lot to be proud of. Fan base, and even more than that, their team and their coaches, did a nice job tonight, and I think they're going to have a fun year. I know it's obviously one game and it's early, but it's a good sign, certainly for them. I felt like for us tonight, I knew it would be a difficult, game for us. Obviously we wanted to compete tonight and do our best. I thought our guys did do that, in a lot of instances. We're a young team right now from a playing time standpoint, in games. We had two guys out there, on the court that have played, a ton of minutes for us, and Joe Sherbourne in 3 years and Arkel Lamar in 2 years, and all the other guys were pretty much new, and it showed tonight more than we needed it to show, quite honestly. And I think the positive for us, I think there were moments within the game that we can look back on and say, all right, we did some of this well, and let's try to capture that and let's build on that. And then there's certainly quite a few things that we can go back and say, this is not what we need to do here. I think the great thing about our kids is they're all smart guys. They're all high character kids. They want to be coached, and they want to improve. And I think that's what we'll do with this game. I mean, we knew that Marquette, and I know they have some new guys in the mix as well, but they have some primary players back, in Howard and my man number 10, and they've played a lot of big games, during their career. And I thought their big guys were very good tonight. I thought they were a big factor for them, certainly on the offensive glass. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but I know that they finished more baskets around the rim than we did in second chance points. And that was hard for us. When Max got in foul trouble early in the first half, he didn't get to play much after that. I thought he came back in the second half and had a nice half for us. It was good to see him kind of snap out of it a little bit. But Howard's a special player. I mean, he is a really good guard, and he's tough to defend. I thought the zone for us, was helpful, during that stretch. The unfortunate part of it was we couldn't capitalize and score enough, on the other end, to kind of make up ground. The key to the game, was just 26-21. We fought back 17-4, and then all of a sudden it's 26-21, and we give up an 8-0 run at that point. And we always talk about runs. We talked about it before the game. That runs are going to happen. Basketball is a very imperfect game, and the other team's not going to lay down. They're going to continue to play, and certainly Marquette played much better basketball than us tonight.
Coach, first collegiate game here at the new arena in Milwaukee as the initial opposing coach. Does anything kind of stand out to you about the building? Yeah,
I mean it's spectacular. Even from the overhead scoreboard, in the inside of the scoreboard, you've got the stats and the TV stuff in there, which is really cool. I hadn't actually seen that before. While it's big, it still feels like it's right on top of you, which I like that. It kind of goes straight up, and certainly they have a great crowd. I think it's well lit. You feel like you're playing on a stage a little bit, which I thought was pretty cool. But our guys like the locker room. It's a pretty big locker room in there.
Coach, after a lot of talk, obviously rightfully so, about what you guys did in the NCAAs last year in the over the preseason, was it nice in some respect to finally turn the page, though, and open up a new chapter here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we've talked about with our team is I never want them to shy away from talking about that moment, because it was so special. It's something that they'll always have together. 30 years from now, they'll be, obviously still teammates, and gone their separate ways. It's something that when they get back together, they'll be able to reminisce about. But at the same time, there's a season, going on now for us. And this is a new team, and we have a new life. And our goal is to go out and create new and exciting moments. We're not ever trying to recreate that moment. It is what it is. We'll always have it. And it's special, and we're known for it, and we're okay with it. It is what it is. But the reality is life goes on. New season happens, and we have new faces on this team. The expectations don't change. Last year at this time, we played Arizona, and it was 58-55 in the second half, and then they went on a major run and, won by close to 30 probably. Our guys had to respond to that. And, I think this team will be no different in terms of response. But, I feel like we've got a blank canvas, and we can kind of make it what we want. And we're not going to worry about what anybody says, on the outside. Well, this team's not as good as they were. But, yeah, we're not right now. All right? But that doesn't mean we can't be later on in the season. And we're going to try to get there.
And then 18 second half points. What did Marquette do that made it so hard to score against them in the second half?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of switching, and it slowed us down. So we paused a lot, and you saw very few plays, where our ball was moving. And when our ball's moving, it's pretty hard to guard. And we were pausing way too much when they switched, and we didn't get rid of the ball. And then we compounded, some of the problems when we did get in there. We were taking hard shots. And when we didn't take hard shots and we stopped and turned around and kicked it out, we actually got some open looks. But those were few and far between. And they did a really nice job of switching and kind of staying in between us and the basket and using their length.
Coach, kind of following up on that question, Marquette's defense struggled a lot last year, but
Yeah.
What are your impressions? It looks like they're turning that around with some of their length and some of the new players they have. Do you feel they can be a much better defensive team just from what you saw tonight?
Yeah, absolutely they can. I think they have, some versatility on the wings. Those guys are good athletic guys that are defenders. They have good size, at 4 and 5. And especially you have to have some 5 men. I know they're going to be playing against some big teams, in their league. And I think they're on their way. It's a good start. I know, I'm sure like any coach is going to tell you, we have a lot to work on, at this point. But the pieces are in place. The system is in place, and I'm sure that they'll do a great job this year.
Coach has been doing it for a long time. Dean Smith, Al McGuire, your dad, taking players home for a game, maybe their senior year, something like that.
Yeah.
How special is that, and how do you think Joe Sherbourne enjoyed this return?
Yeah, it was great for him. Obviously he had a ton of fans here. Most importantly, his family, and we allowed him to pick all the restaurants, and so he got to pick the restaurants, and we had great food. All of them were wonderful, and you could just tell that he was excited to be here. We're doing something with our team this year that's the 3 H's that some other teams have done before. And, over the course of the year, we ask each player, and the coaches are involved in this too, who's your hero, what's your happiest moment, and what's your biggest hardship. And so this was Joe's time to go. I called on him last night, and so I won't share what he said, but it was a special thing. So I know he was excited to be able to come home and play in front of his friends and family.